quick update for Bitcoin. So nothing has changed. I'm still bullish. I think we have some upside, and explain why this is the case. If you've been following along with my videos, I've been talking about this P1 chart, this yellow ring, and also the peak of the bull run chart, a blue ring on the weekly. I told you on this chart, this was 3 videos back, I said Bitcoin could pump to 22K. Still believe that is the case. And I was telling you to pay attention to this chart and another chart. Link up this video now if you want to check it out. I was saying as long as we stay before this yellow ring, short it. As soon as we cross it, we'll probably get a pivot to push up. And you can see that is what happened. We moved down the yellow ring, we crossed it, we pushed up. This is a published version, published on December 26th. If I hit play, you can see we moved down the ring. So you knew when it's short, short, short. We got a crazy wick down as support, but then we started pushing up. And you can see how far we're up right now. We're up 16,852. I am still in my long trade. I saw some people left comments previous video saying I got wrecked. Guys, I believe we're pushing up. I stayed in my long. I wrote it down to like a $900 loss and wrote it all the way back up. Actually, all the way down here and wrote it back up. I'm still in my long, guys. I'm not wrecked. I believe the ring's going to play out like I said it will. And again, I'm explaining a lot of stuff here. I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you support and resistance I always pay attention to, show you why I have my stop where it's at. But I'm going to show you this and break it down, this blue ring, why I think that we're due for a suckers rally, and this blue ring to me indicates this is the start of the suckers rally. So I'm going to take this blue fib circle and copy it and paste it over a blank chart. Well, I already had it in there. Hold on. Let me remove it and paste it in again. So this is that blue ring I've been talking about, and if you watch that previous video, every time we cross one of these blue rings, we get a pump. Cross it, we get a pump. So I think it's no different. I think this ring indicates we're going to have some upside. This has to do with the Fed, the interest rates. There's a lot of stuff. We're going to cover that, the DXY as well. But I do think we cross this ring, we get a pump. I would like to point out, guys, if I come back here to 2013, 2014, and we measure the time, from this point to this point was 413 days. This is on the weekly, by the way. This bear market here, this was 2017. We measure to the ring, that was 448 days. If we measure the peak in our, where we peaked in 2021 to this ring, that is 413 days. That matches. 413 days matches exactly with our bear market 2013, 2014. So to me, this is the perfect point to set up a trap to get people bullish to think the bottom's in before coming back down. So I think what's going to happen is a smaller version of this. Let me grab my arrow tool here. So I think, hold on, let me get this working here. I think what's going to happen is we're going to get something like this. Not as extreme, but I think what's going to happen is we're going to, every time we cross a blue ring, we push up. So that's why I'm still bullish. I think we will push up. But I don't think we'll push as high. I think we will push up, but there's a point where I think we'll get rejected. And that is on this chart here. I talked about this chart previously. This was what I was calling the God line. So when you hit this point to short based on previous lines in this fib channel, every time you hit a line, we got rejected. So it only made sense when we hit this line, we get rejected. This is published on March 23rd. If I hit play, you can see what happened. We all shorted this point. You see it came down. We found support. We hit this point, got rejected again. You had 2 points too short on this line. It became support. So what I'm getting at is we're coming up on the next fib channel line, and that will be the next point too short. Why would it be any different? Every time we hit one of these lines, we get rejected. Rejected, rejected, rejected. So we hit this line, we will get rejected. I do not know when we'll make contact, but I know when we do, that is a point I will short, and I will long up to that point. This is the actual chart. This is the line I'm talking about. Again, you can see every time we hit, we got rejected, right? So this is the next point, and where we make contact, that's where I'm going to my short. This is where I'm going to be longing to. I'm going to copy this and paste it over this chart just to show you. So I think that is how it's going to play out. I think that we will push up to this point. I can give you an idea. Let's see, let me put a price label here. You know, if we pushed up, let me zoom in a bit. I have some alerts set on TradingView. So if we pushed up today, and if that would take us all the way up to potentially, what, almost 24,000, 23,700. If it's further out here to the right, 20,538. If we go more sideways, 19,400. But I do believe that is a point we'll get rejected. And I think that will be, again, I think that's how it's going to play out. So it'll be a trap, just like this was the trap. People got bullish, started pushing up, and then we came down and had a crash. So I think it'll be a smaller version of this playing out right here. And I think the M1 chart is the point to watch to get rejected. Guys, the DXY, I just want to point this out. This is on the weekly. And just so you can see, whenever the DXY pushes up, this is the US dollar. Notice this is our support down here. We pushed up. Let me zoom in a bit so you can see this. Notice we pushed up, we got rejected, came down, found support. We pushed right back up, got rejected again. Understand the markets and Bitcoin is inversely correlated with the DXY. So when the DXY topped out, started coming down, markets were pushing up. All right. When the DXY found support and pushed back up, markets were coming down. So it seems like every time we test resistance, notice we tested it twice right here. And came down, pushed up. We almost tested it right here. Every time we hit it, we get rejected, we come down, we push back up, we come down, we hold support, we come back up and test it. So I think we're going to come down to a certain point. Remember, if the DXY comes down, that's going to be bullish for markets and bullish for Bitcoin. So I think the DXY has some more downside. But at a certain point, let's say 102, or down here would be around 99, possibly 100. At that point, the DXY is going to push back up. People are getting bullish because the Fed's lowering, or it's not raising interest rates as much. It was 75 basis points and 50 basis points. Now it's going to be 25 basis points. So the markets are getting excited, expecting that the Fed's going to pivot and start lowering interest rates. So for this reason, I expect that the dollar is going to continue down. Markets will push up. Bitcoin will push up based on that blue ring. That looks like that's what's going to happen. And then at some point, the dollar will find support and then push back up to our resistance. At this point, I think that's when when Bitcoin will bottom and the markets will bottom. Historically, this is what happens. You keep getting rejected and we come back up and test it again. And I believe that's what's going to happen. We have some more downside for the DXY, upside for Bitcoin in the markets. And then at this point, again, that's when I expect Bitcoin and the markets to have bottomed. And currently you can see, and again, Bitcoin is inversely correlated with the DXY. DXY dropped almost all the way down to 103. Bitcoin is pushing up, and then you can see the dollar is wicked all the way up this much, and you can see Bitcoin has been dropping. So you got to pay attention to the US dollar, the Dow Jones, guys. So we're at critical support right now. Now I will tell you this: if we break this support, then maybe I'm wrong. Then maybe we do have a crash. But we're testing a critical support for the Dow Jones, the Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq. The structure is a little different. The structure for the Dow looks more bullish than the S&P and the Nasdaq. But I would like to point out, if this is a head and shoulders, all right. Let me grab my line tool here. So if this is a head and shoulders, this would be your left shoulder here. This would be your head. This would be your right shoulder. If that plays out, yeah, we have a lot of downside. If you just go from the head to, it's kind of hard to find the neckline on this, but that would bring you down to around 30,000, let's say 31,000. That's a very critical support level right here. You can see that this was support right here. A lot of support and resistance. And then you have this ring, right? This fib circle that's been support and resistance going back. I mean, this right here was May 2021. So there's a lot of confluence. If we get a drop, this plays out head and shoulders, your target is around 31,000. But I think it's possible because everyone is short. Everyone expects more downside. I think it's possible we could push up. Your next point to watch is 33. This is the Dow Jones, by the way, guys. 33,600 up to potentially 34,200 to 34,400. The highest we could possibly go would be 35,000 if this is one epic suckers rally or bull trap. Just keep in mind this fib circle. This was the top back here at 37,031. I think that's the highest we could possibly go. I'm not expecting us to go that high, but I do think we're overdue for a suckers rally. You can see currently, before I started this video, the markets, the Dow was up, I think it was like 230 points. Now it's down 25 points. The reason we're getting all this volatility is because of the Fed minutes that will be on right here. So Wednesday, January 4th, that's today, and that is at 2 p.m. But again, there's going to be a lot of volatility, but I think it's going to be bullish because the Fed is not lowering interest rates, but not increasing interest rates as much. I think that's bullish for markets, and I do think the CPI is going to come in lower and lower. My next target on my chart, which would be interesting to see when the CPI data comes out, would be 6.16 or potentially 5.27. Some people said I was crazy to chart the CPI, the CPI numbers, but this chart has been pretty accurate. This is actually called the topper here, 9.16. You can see that this has been resistance. this was resistance. So your next point to watch down here is around 5.27. So again, I did chart this. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But again, I think the inflation is going to continue to come down. People are going to get more and more bullish, which is going to cause markets to push up, cause Bitcoin to push up. But as we can see, when inflation comes down, we always push right back up. So I think that's when the crash will happen. As I said, when the DXY comes back up to test resistance, that's on the bottom. So I think we'll come down to a certain point, then it'll push right back up. That's when the dollar will have found support, start pushing back up to resistance, and that's when the markets will have bottomed. So again, that's why I'm saying it's bullish up to a certain point, and then we'll have that crash. I do not believe Bitcoin is bottom, but I do think we're overdue for a suckers rally. Let me give you key support resistance levels. Right here, this is the weekly chart. This is that blue ring right here. This is the blue ring from the peak of the bull run chart. Now, I will tell you, I do think it's possible when we hit that line. Again, that's where I'll be shorting. I want to show you the M1 chart, but we do have a lot of resistance here. This is your current resistance right here, this trend line on the weekly. And you have this is the 300-week moving average right here, and this is the 21-week. Looks like you're going to be crossing pretty soon. That is a lot of resistance. So if we push up, if you want to take profit, plus you have this resistance line here. So if you want to take profit, around 18,000 would be a likely point. However, if we get above and hold support above 18,500, let's say 18,400, that will be bullish up to 22K to that white line I showed you in the M1 chart. If we break to the downside, then this will be the first time we cross one of these blue rings and had a drop. That's why I'm bullish. That's why I'm staying in my long. I believe we have more upside. But if we do come down, your next critical support to watch, well, will be this ring. This ring will end up being support. You see this trend line is support currently. So that's a lot of confluence right here for support around, say, 14,900 to 15,000. Just some current support resistance levels to pay attention to. As I said, I have my stop below 16,600. I have a little lower in case we get a crazy wick. But you can see that this is currently our support right here. Right? So this would be a likely point to have your stop below if you're in a long. Your current major resistance to watch on the G1 chart is right here around 16,900. I would love to get above that and hold support since I'm in a long. Obviously, if 16,658 breaks, then we're probably coming down to that target I gave you on the previous chart, around 14,900. Let's move on to this chart. This is the M1 chart, guys. You see this is our resistance currently. We hit it at 17,048. We hit it at 16,968. You see we got rejected at this point. Your current resistance above on the M1 chart is right around 16,983. So we need to get above 17,000 to hold support, expect more upside. Again, your next support below is around 16,374, just connecting these two wicks. This is the C1 chart, and again, this is just a moving average. It's been resistance. Every time we hit it, we got rejected. Now that's support. So closer point to keep your stop loss would be below 16,743. I have mine quite a bit lower because they might send it down to shake out people that are in longs, or to stop them out and send it right back up. The next critical support level below is around 16,533. And again, a lot of charts show them got to get up above 17,000. This is one other chart. This is the H1 chart. So your current resistance 16,800. We need to get back above that and hold support, expect more upside. And your next key support, you see all these support resistance levels match, and all these charts are charted different ways, around 16,417. So I'll recap really quick, guys, but again, if you want to get access to our Discord and sign up for the charts, website's opticalcrypto.com, links pinned in the first comment description. You can pay with USDT if you'd like. Just email me through the website. I also have tutorials teaching my method of charting. So again, guys, just want to show you what I'm expecting, all right? I think we are overdue for a suckers rally. I think what's going to play out, we're going to cross this blue ring, just like I showed you. Back here, we crossed it, we had a pump. I think we're going to get a fake out. Same thing that happened here is going to happen here. And when we push up, I think the highest we'll go will be around 22K. Remember, the longer it takes to hit this line, the lower the price. But this is where I'm going in a heavy short. I'm going to stay in my long up to that point. But remember, 18,000 is going to be a lot of resistance. But guys, that's pretty much it. Again, if you want to sign up for Big, get my links pinned in the first comment description. That's it, guys. I'm out. Stay safe, stay smart.